Honda's flagship big-bore maxi-scooter, the Forza 750, hit the market in 2021 as the top of the Forza line, a series that began in Europe back in 2013 with the Forza 300 and later the 125. With over 250,000 Forzas sold across Europe, it's a proven hit for Honda. But the Forza 750 isn't just a larger scooter. Despite its scooter-like appearance, with a semi-step-through design, footboards, and 22 liters of underseat storage, it's built more like a motorcycle underneath. It shares its platform with Honda's X-ADV adventure scooter, and for 2025, that connection runs even deeper. Both models still use the same 745cc parallel twin engine derived from the NC 750, the same DCT automatic transmission, the same steel tube cradle frame and aluminum swing arm, and the same electronics suite. Now they also share a similar visual design, with the Forza getting a sharper, more aggressive front end that aligns closely with the X-ADV's look. A notable upgrade is the addition of an electrically adjustable windscreen, something the X-ADV still lacks, sticking with a manual version. The Forza 750 continues to deliver on its premium promise. It inherits most of the X-ADV's 2025 updates: smoother low-speed DCT shifts, new projector-style LED headlights with integrated indicators, updated dash and controls, cruise control, and a redesigned seat with more padding at the same height. Key differences remain. The Forza uses cast wheels, 17-inch front, 15-inch rear, instead of spoked, has shorter suspension travel, a lower overall seat height, larger front brake discs, fairing-mounted mirrors, and a handlebar-mounted USB port rather than one under the seat. The Forza 750 comes equipped with a solid set of chassis components, most carried over from the 2021 model. It runs on 17-inch front and 15-inch rear wheels, sizes that give it motorcycle-style steering and handling. The wheels are cast alloy with a new 3x3 spoke design unique to the Forza, wrapped in high-spec Pirelli Diablo Rosso tires, 120/70 front, 160/60 rear. Suspension is Showa. 41mm USD forks, non-adjustable, up front and a preload adjustable rear shock, both with 120mm of travel. That's more than you typically get on scooters, where design limits wheel movement. Here, the travel matches that of the NC 750X, with which the Forza shares its engine and chassis. Handling is confident and bike-like. The main compromise is the riding position. Your feet are planted on footboards, not pegs, so there's less lower body input. Most control comes from your upper body and hands. Ride quality is generally good, though sharp bumps or cobblestones will expose some limitations, especially since you can't use your legs to help absorb impacts. Steering is responsive and composed in fast corners, thanks to the low center of gravity. It leans in predictably, with none of the twitchiness found in smaller wheeled scooters. Ground clearance is decent. You'll need to lean hard to scrape the hero blobs, which are oddly mounted on the center stand because there's nowhere else to put them. In traffic, the Forza holds its own. Like most maxi scooters, its length, not its width, is what limits tight maneuvering. Braking is handled by dual 320mm front discs, slightly larger than the X-ADV's, paired with Nissin 4-piston radial calipers for added stability. At the rear, there's a conventional caliper plus a separate underslung caliper operated by a handbrake mounted above the right grip, needed because of the automatic DCT gearbox. As with all twist-and-go scooters, the rear brake is on the left lever. It quickly becomes second nature not to grab it like a clutch. Honda's linked ABS system kicks in under hard braking, giving the Forza impressive stopping power for its 236 kilograms weight. Rider comfort is often limited on scooters since most of the load is carried through the seat rather than the legs or bars. But Honda markets the Forza 750 as a GT, Grand Touring, scooter, and it's built to go the distance. With a 200-mile tank range and optional hard luggage, seat comfort matters. The 2025 model gets a revised seat with 10% more urethane padding, the same 790mm seat height, and a new taper for easier foot reach. The fairing has also been reshaped for more foot space. There's also a comfort seat option that's genuinely more comfortable, so much so that it makes you wonder why it isn't standard. Shouldn't all motorcycle seats aim to be this good by default? The Forza 750 runs the same 745cc SU-HC 270° parallel twin engine used in Honda's NC 750X and X-ADV. It's an undersquare motor, 77mm bore, 80mm stroke, reportedly derived from half a Honda Jazz engine, which means it's built for torque, not revs. Power figures are familiar: 57.8 bhp at 6,750 revolutions per minute, and 50.9 pounds to foot at 4,750 revolutions per minute. The engine sits canted forward in a low-slung steel tube frame, helping give the Forza its low center of gravity and steady, planted handling. For a scooter, it's quick. For a 750cc motorcycle, less so. It pulls off the line smoothly and hustles through city traffic with ease. On the motorway, it'll cruise comfortably all day without breaking a sweat. But in the mid-range, especially as the DCT works through its gears, it lacks a bit of punch. There's no real growl or urgency, just a faint whistling sound near the top of the revs. The DCT, dual clutch transmission, handles gear changes automatically, with no clutch lever and no risk of stalling. Paddles on the left bar let you take control when you want, either in full manual mode or to override auto shifting at key moments, like downshifting for better engine braking into corners. DCT shift behavior is tied to the riding modes, Sport, Standard, Rain, each with its own gear change pattern. For 2025, Honda focused on smoothing out low-speed DCT performance, critical in U-turns, filtering through traffic, or easing off from a stop. These scenarios demand ultra-precise clutch engagement with zero hesitation. In previous versions, DCT relied on oil pressure sensors to gauge clutch position, but oil pressure varies too much to be reliably accurate. Honda's solution? A new algorithm that factors in known values like fluid viscosity and internal resistance, refining clutch engagement at low speeds. The result is noticeably smoother performance. During testing, a back-to-back ride with the older X-ADV system showed just how much more natural the new Forza feels. No more hesitation, chugging, or indecision. The clutch now slips exactly when it should. It's one of those fixes you only fully appreciate when you remember how it used to be. That said, the Forza doesn't get a 6-axis EMU, so DCT doesn't account for lean angle when choosing gears. Occasionally, this can cause the bike to downshift mid-corner, especially during slow U-turns, causing a brief stumble. Fuel economy during our test averaged 58 miles per gallon under spirited riding. Honda claims up to 78 miles per gallon. With a 13.2-liter tank, expect real-world range between 170 to 220 miles, with reserve coming in around 130 to 160 miles depending on how hard you ride. Since the mid-1980s, Honda has built a near-legendary reputation for reliability, and there's no reason to expect anything less from the Forza 750. Its 745cc engine, shared with the NC750X and X-ADV, has proven itself over the years, originally introduced as the NC700 back in 2012. Despite its sophistication, the DCT, dual clutch transmission, has been similarly trouble-free since its 2009 debut. Honda even argues that DCT reduces mechanical stress on the drivetrain and extends chain life. The chassis is expected to be equally robust, assuming proper care. Regular cleaning and rust prevention during winter go a long way. Build quality is solid. We tested a version fitted with panniers, 26 liters and 33 liters, and the overall finish felt premium. The cockpit, with its new 5-inch TFT display, electric screen, keyless ignition, and fairing-mounted mirrors, is well thought out. Materials lean heavily on plain plastic, like the bar shrouds and filler flap, but while visually unexciting, they're not cheap or flimsy. The filler cap, though, is a letdown. It's unhinged and looks like a generic parts bin solution. The 2025 Forza's color options don't exactly stir the soul, just black, gray, and a dull bronze Honda calls matte warm ash metallic. No bold colors, no HRC edition. Pricing hasn't been announced yet, but if it follows the X-ADV's modest £50 bump for 2025, from £11,199 to £11,249, expect the Forza to land around £10,549, up slightly from £10,499 in 2024. That's still strong value compared to its only real rival, Yamaha's smaller engine TMAX TMAX at £14,011. Alternatives include the more adventure-oriented X-ADV or the motorcycle-style NC750X, which shares the same platform. One heads up, insurance costs for the Forza are often higher than the X-ADV or NC750X. It's likely classified more like a scooter, and thus seen as higher theft risk. Always compare quotes before buying. Where the 2025 Forza really moves forward is in styling and tech. The front fairing has been completely redesigned with sharper lines and aerodynamic cutaways, giving it a more dynamic look. The new LED headlights are brighter, twice as powerful, according to Honda, and now feature built-in indicators, a world first for a bike. This removes the need for separate fairing-mounted indicators and gives the front end a cleaner look. Aerodynamics have also improved. Honda added vents inside the cockpit to reduce the low pressure zone behind the screen for better comfort and steering precision. The screen itself is now electrically adjustable via a button on the left handlebar and is wider and steeper when fully raised. At full extension, a 6-foot rider will find the screen just below eye level, with significantly reduced wind noise and turbulence. New mirrors are still fairing mounted and offer a wide, clear rear view. The screen is made from Durabio, a plant-based plastic derived from corn pellets. Over 30 other plastic parts on the Forza are now made from recycled materials, including repurposed Honda car bumpers. Inside the cockpit, there's a new 5-inch TFT dash and redesigned switchgear. Previous Forzas borrowed their controls from the Africa Twin, but the 2025 model uses brighter, more intuitive displays with 3 layout options: bar, circle, and simple. The interface relies on icons for info, but it's clean and easy to follow once you get the hang of it. The new switchgear is slimmer, has fewer buttons, and is partially backlit for better usability. Cruise control appears for the first time on a Forza, with activation on the right grip and set/resume on the left. If you're in manual mode and use the paddle shifters, cruise disengages. In auto mode, it climbs up to top gear on its own. Rider aids are comprehensive, if arguably overkill on a 58 bhp scooter. You get 5 modes: Sport, Standard, Rain, and 2 customizable user modes. Each can tweak power delivery, traction control, engine braking, ABS behavior, and DCT shifting patterns. The menu system is deep but user-friendly and avoids the clunky complexity of older systems like the Africa Twins. Storage remains strong, with a 22-liter underseat compartment that includes an LED light and a relocated USB-C charging port now in the cockpit where it's easier to access. There's still a glove box in the right fairing as well.